Hi, my name is Larry Donahue, and I've been a lawyer for the past 30 years in business, intellectual property, and corporate issues. I'm here to talk about liability protection. When you form a corporate structure, that is a form of liability protection. But let me tell you, there are other forms of liability protection. And so it's sorry to use the crude analogy here, but it's almost like, preventing your form of birth control. There's no one method that's perfect except for abstinence. But, let's be honest, you're going to form a company. You are an entrepreneur. You're watching this video. You're thinking about things. So I don't think abstinence is the right thing here. The question is, how do you protect yourself? But let me ask the question, why? Why do you feel like this is an issue? Why are us lawyers saying liability protection? The big mantra that I'm trying to push out is don't feed the lawyers. And the reason I'm saying that is over and over and over again, people are getting themselves into trouble when they go out into business because they don't know what the issues are. They don't know how to set things up correctly from the beginning. They don't know what to look out for. So as it relates back to my crude analogy of, birth control, protecting yourself, you want to think of different layers of protection for liability. And because people are looking for the chinks in the armor, the more successful you become, the bigger an audience, the better your brand, the more of a target you are. And there are people out there that are either A, looking for trouble and looking to go after people that haven't done things correctly, or B, they just meander into things and then they talk to a lawyer or somebody and they're like, oh, you can make a lot of money because you were hurt or damaged somehow by a company. So whether you have the best intentions or not, you need to think about liability protection. Because if you do things wrong, you give yourself a big target on your back. So what do? First, insurance. General liability for sure, and then workers' comp, depending on the jurisdiction you're in, and maybe errors and admissions. There's other types of policies. Talk to an insurance professional about insurance. 2, the right company, the right structure. You need an LLC, corporation, or professional entity, number 1. 2, you need really good formation documents in order to do things correctly. And you don't want to commingle funds. You don't want to confuse the entity from yourself. I'm going to talk more about that in another video. Look out for it. And then finally, contracts. You need to put the right documents in place to manage relationships with customers, clients, employees, contractors, everybody. Those 3 things will help protect you in the long run so you don't feed the lawyers.